What's up guys, it's Cody Pyrotechnics, and today we're going to be doing a giveaway towards the end of this video. But right now I want to show you what I got from MortarSupply.com. Now this video is actually long overdue. I have been sick with influenza. It actually put me out of work for like 3 days. So I've been pretty ill and unable to talk. But now that we've got this order, we finally were able to unbox these two boxes here. You probably saw this on my Instagram, but we just haven't gotten around to doing a video. So here is that video. So let's get into some of this stuff. We're going to be doing a fuse giveaway, maybe some other things towards the end, so stay tuned. The first thing we're going to do is take a look at all this fuse from Mortar Supply. Then we're going to get into these racks down here. They're all a little different, and I'll explain more about that. As a little added bonus for you guys, when you place your orders on MortarSupply.com, you're going to get 5% off with my coupon code at checkout time, and that code is going to be CBPyro19. The link and all that good stuff is going to be in the description of this video. So we got all these different kinds of fuses here. We're going to start down here and just show you kind of what this fuse does. Everybody should know about the perfect fuse. This was popularized by Big Fireworks. And you can see the burn rate here is about 10 seconds per foot, which for me, I don't know about you, but for me that's a little fast when we're talking about cakes. This is probably good for shells, but it's not so good for cakes. And that is why just this year we've now got fast cake fuse, which is 12.5 to 13.6 seconds per foot. And this is literally perfect. As if this wasn't good enough, this is perfect. Because when you're doing these 500 gram cakes and 200 gram cakes, they all have different rates to them. And the best in between is going to be this time right here. So I'm super happy that they finally developed a fuse specifically for fusing cakes. Now right here we've got medium artillery fuse, which is going to be kind of like the fast artillery fuse. And these are really good for fusing up your shells and everything. I know a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll use this and this for making homemade shells, because then you can take the fuse and you can put it right down into the lift charge, and that's going to give you the same burn rate as a typical artillery shell fuse. We got some premium cannon fuse here. Everybody knows about this stuff. This is the slowest burning fuse you're going to find on consumer market. Any slower than this and you're talking about time fuse. So this is always good to have if you want to slow fuse some shells. I don't recommend cakes. This stuff burns way too slow. Then we've got my favorite, which is the quick hobby fuse. If you guys have ever liked one of my finale videos, it was done with this fuse alone. We didn't use quick match, nothing like that. It's all with this. So really good stuff here. Also available on Mortar Supply, we got some zip ties. These are my go-to. You guys know I don't use tape, I only use zip ties. Some people argue that it's a little messier, but I like to think zip ties hold that bond between the two fuses a little tighter than tape can. And we got all different colors here. You can see you can get whatever color you want. Again, all fuse and zip ties from MortarSupply.com. Now let's take a look at the racks that we've got. They're all different. You can see that we've got 5 racks here. And let's go ahead and start with the 2 on the far right. Now these racks, actually this guy, to cut down on shipping costs and save you guys some money, they're all going to come with these stabilizing plates, but they're not attached. And so all you've got to do really is flip the rack over. There's going to be a number on the bottom with arrows showing you which side the screws need to go into. And it's really easy to just apply the stabilizing board to the actual rack itself. And you'll notice on some of these racks, you're going to get a bunch of these screws, and those will be what you can use to apply it. So really all you need is a drill, and you're going to save money on your racks. So starting down here, we've got 2 6-shot DR11, and these are 12-inch tubes. So this is what the tubes actually look like. Pretty typical. This is kind of the go-to rack for a lot of your backyard pyro, and even doing some smaller consumer firework displays, you want to get these DR11 racks here. I always recommend doing this instead of using the fiberglass tubes that most of those shell kits actually come with. And you get them in 6, you get them in 12, you get them in all different varieties, and most of the time they're built specifically for the number of shells in kits. So then let's take a look at this one here, and it looks almost the same, but there's a catch. You see these are a little thicker. This is what you call a DR9 tube, okay? So you've got a little bit of a thicker tube here, but at the same time, it's a little slimmer than these. Now your canister shells and stuff like that are still going to fit in here, but these are mainly built for your ball shells and festival balls and whatnot. Stuff that, you know, when you're not getting into canister shells with the DR11, which is like the most common universal tube, you want to get these DR9s for the smaller shells. A lot of times these ball shell kits aren't actually 1.75, some of them are actually 1.5, and those are going to fit perfectly in these DR9 tubes. We're going to do some side-by-side stuff here and compare, show you that you can shoot canister shells out of here as well. Over here we've got a 6-shot 15-inch. Okay, so a little longer, but we'll show you. So it's going to be a little longer than the 12-inch, obviously. We've got 15-inch here. Now, there's a lot of people that argue that the 15-inch tube throws the shell up even higher. However, that's not necessarily true, and we're going to show you. Mainly a 15-inch tube, most canister shell fuses aren't even going to reach the top. So it's kind of pointless to get the 15-inch. Especially if you're only buying these to get the canister shell to go higher, it's just not going to be a noticeable enough difference. In reality, what these 15-inch tubes are actually used for are mine shells. So when you got your mine shells and you put them in a rack like this, yeah, they're going to work the same, but when you put them in a 15-inch long tube, it's going to concentrate that mine shell a little better in the air, and it's going to go in a more straight pattern. It's going to look a little more flashy than doing it in here. Just think of the science behind a shotgun. You make the barrel longer and the BBs stay together a little better. So that's kind of what we got going on here with the 15-inch. So if you're shooting mine shells, get the 15-inch, but then again, you're still going to have to make the fuse a little longer because it's not really going to reach the top. And over here, we've got a 12-shot DR11 12-inch rack. And this is very similar to these, but you'll notice there's no, you don't have the spacer here, and that's because these are two separate racks. Well, this is just a 12-shot of that, and a lot of people find that the 12-shot is really good for finales because what you can do here, and what I've also done personally, is you can double load these canister shells, and you can actually fuse these right down the middle. That's going to make both rows go at the same time, and it works great for finales. So I think what we're going to do next is we're going to go out, well, first we're going to attach these, and then we're going to go out and shoot some stuff out of the 15-inch tube. We're even going to shoot a mine shell for you, and we're going to shoot some ball shells out of the DR9 and some canister shells. And I think we're going to do a durability test on one of these little racks to show how the build quality is over at Mortar Supply. But pretty awesome stuff. And then don't forget to use my coupon code at checkout if you guys are interested in buying any of this. You're going to get 5% off for just typing that in. And like I said, that's CBPyro19. It'll be in the description and all that good stuff. Here's something cool that you're only going to find at motorsupply.com. I found this really interesting, and this is kind of what differentiates these guys from their competitors. So you come down here, you got three options. Pretty much you got tubes and racks. They got a bunch of other stuff up here too. But really what stands out to me is this. You've got all of these combo options, and we're going to show you when it loads. So for about 200 bucks, but you're going to take 10 bucks off because of my code, you're going to get this little kit here, which is really nice. This is geared directly towards backyard pyro. A lot of these guys don't know much about fusing, firing systems. They're kind of new to the whole show aspect. When you get into firing systems, it can scare a lot of people away. But this is super simple. You get a firing system, easy to use, comes with a manual. It comes with 2 packs of these fuses, and you even get 200 zip ties, it looks like. You're also going to get these 2 12-shot racks. And this is going to work perfect for any of your 24-shell kits like the death shells, which I know you guys love. If we come down here, we've got a bunch of other starter combo kits. We've got the starter here, 6-shot, the starter 12, the 42-shot master combo, the 20-shot starter combo. And this is what I like to see, because a few years back, I would have loved to have found a website that gives you the works, and this website gives you the works. So you can buy any one of these little packages here, and don't forget you're going to get 5% off. So here's what I've done with the racks. You can see I've gotten the base plates on, which was actually really easy, a lot easier than I expected. All you got to do is pre-drill one of the screws, line it up, and the bottoms are actually numbered, so super simple. And over here I did something a little different. I took the 2 base plates from the 2 6-shot DR11 racks, and I've actually angled them here. So this looks pretty sweet. However, I don't really recommend doing this unless you know what you're doing. You gotta make sure it's super precise, otherwise this thing could blow apart. But really nice, because if at any point I don't want these to be angled, I'd have the base plates, and you can see the number is still on. So I really could just take these apart and use them how they were supposed to be used. But I do like the angled, and the reason I did this is because when I'm doing my canister shell comparison videos, I like to have one going off on this side and one going off on this side. So now instead of dragging out that bulky 18 shot rack, I can just use this nice little angled 12 shot rack here with the two 6s. And like I said, if I don't like the angled effect in shows, I can always take it apart. It's really easy to just unscrew this, put it right on the bottom of the racks. Now it's time to go shoot some shells off. So here is our lineup. This is what we're going to be shooting here when it gets a little darker. I've got two 5-inch shells here. What we're going to do is I've taken 2 of the 15-inch tubes and put them on the angled 12-shot rack. And here we've got a Your Tube shell by T-Sky. That's going to be loaded into the 15, and then in the 12, we've got another one. So that'll show you the difference in the spread of the mines. And then over here, I've got the Memory Fireworks M25 Willow shells. We got one here, and we've got one in here, but the fuse does not reach the top of the tube, and that's the issue that we were talking about earlier. So when you load these into the 15-inch, that fuse is just going to disappear like that. Now over here, we've got the DR9s, and we're just going to show you real quick that canister shells do fit. It's a little tight. See what I mean there? So you definitely don't want to get these for canister shells. They're mainly for ball shells. Here we've got a 175, and that'll fit down there pretty nicely. I mean, it's got room to slide, and that's all you really need. So we'll just push that down there with like a ruler or something. And here we've got an even smaller ball shell. And so this is the 175 and this is the 1.5. You can see there's a little bit of a difference. When you drop this in, it goes right down. And that is your typical festival ball size artillery shell. So perfect. However, the fuse is just not quite long enough. You're going to run into that problem in just about every kit. We got one more 5-inch shell that we're going to shoot out of here. And let's see if we already got one. Nope. So here is what I wanted to show you with the fuse. We've got a typical Excalibur shell. When you put it in the 15-inch tube, you'll see it hardly reaches the top. You got that little amount to work with. But when you do it on the 12-inch, you got plenty of room. So I want to test it out with a 5-inch shell. So we'll be shooting a 5-inch shell out of the 15-inch tube. And you can see the fuse a lot better. So the 15-inch tubes are going to be good if you're firing 5-inch shells or mine shells. All right, let's go shoot these off. First thing we're going to do is the Your Tube shells. And the point of this is to show the concentration of spread between the 15-inch and the 12-inch tube. So let's see if there is a difference. Well, both the same effects. Now let's try a little better of a mine effect. We've got another 15-inch tube and a 12-inch tube. These are Willow shells, and again we're looking for concentration of the spread of the mine effect in these. All right, now that time I could definitely tell a difference. The 15-inch, the mine effect kind of went up a little higher. So, I mean, when you're talking about 1-3 fireworks, you're really going to notice a difference when it comes to tube length and mine shells. Now we're going to do 2 5-inch shells, one out of a 12-inch tube and one out of a 15-inch tube. And the reason we're doing this is to compare the height difference, to see if there is any height difference at all. So 2 5s, and we're gonna get way back so we can try to see on video if one did go higher than the other. That second shell did go a little higher, but I believe that was in the 12-inch tube. So that's kind of strange. We're getting the opposite effect that we wanted. Actually, you know what? I think the one on the right was in the 15-inch tube. Let's try that again with some Excalibur shells. Again, we've got an Excal in the 15 and in the 12. So we'll see if one of these goes higher than the other. See, I wish I knew which shells were going first. That would help. Oh yeah. Yep. Okay, that 15-inch tube definitely, without a doubt, threw that X caliber up a little higher. If you notice that there on the second shell, it had almost looked like a little more hang time. Here we got a couple of special shells in the DR9. Now we've got a 1.75 and a 1.5. Let's fire these out of the DR9, see how they perform. A little windy out here tonight, but get her done. So only one of them went. I'm kind of hesitant on approaching that because it's still got an ember. I don't think the 1.5 went off, and I would be right about that. Yep, the fuse didn't go, but that's still smoldering, so we're gonna have to wait a minute before we approach that. I was wrong, and in fact it was the 1.75 that didn't fire. I think we're gonna try to refuse this real quick. So even after refusing this 1.75, it still didn't work. So now I had to rub it around in the snow. Probably just gonna take it apart and salvage the powder because that fuse is just not gonna work. Sorry about that. Pretty much though, moral of the story here, you really can't go wrong with any of these tubes or racks. I mean, whichever size you're getting, it's still gonna perform about the same. And the 15-inch definitely did throw the X caliber up a little higher. Not so much the 5-inch shells, but still pretty cool comparison there. Now this is just one of the fuses that I'm super excited to try this summer with one of my displays. So because we got 2 packs, we're going to give one away. We're also going to give away a fast artillery, a quick fuse, and a green fuse for you. So one of you guys is going to win this. The only thing that you have to do is comment below, like, and obviously you have to be subscribed. Also, I'd like you to share the video. If you have no way of sharing the video, just let me know in the comments, and that's fine. I'll enter you anyway. But that's all you really have to do to enter this giveaway, and you're going to get 4 packs of fuse.